Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks so much for joining us for our Tuesday weather update, recorded July the 25th, and we're tracking a cold blast about to move up the country, although it's not quite what you might think. Despite a southerly coming in with a classic cold front and snow for our mountains and ranges, we're still expecting the South Island to be either normal temperature-wise or even slightly above normal temperature-wise. So this is not our normal winter at the moment. Even though it might be cold for some of you, it is still warmer than it should be for this time of the year in most parts of New Zealand. On the animated wind map today, you can see low pressure in the dark shading, high pressure in the bright white shading out here over Australia. Our airflow, despite it being a bit of a southerly, is actually coming out of Australia, which is why it's not super cold. Now, we do have more of a southerly injection coming through later on today and through Wednesday as that southerly comes in. That will produce some snow along the mountains and ranges, but it's not exactly a major winter blast. So let's have a look and see what's going on. Here is the water vapor map, satellite water vapor map. You can see that cold front moving into the South Island and the cold air churning around south of it. That is on its way up the country for the next 24 hours as we go through into Wednesday. And it brings with it a bit of snow. Not a huge amount, nothing's really changed from our update yesterday. 10 to 15 centimetres in the yellow, and for the lighter shading in the blue, you're talking around about just a trace up to about 10 centimetres. So it's a decent bit of snow for the ski fields, but it's not necessarily a major snow event for the country, but it goes all the way up to the Gisborne Ranges. So that cold southerly, while it's not overly cold for the South Island, it will be cold for the North Island. The North Island's definitely going to be colder than average as we go into Wednesday, and this is why. We've got low pressure to the east, high pressure well out to the west over Canberra, and as a result of that, the North Island in particular under a cold, windy southerly. So Wednesday won't be very flash for the North Island. In the South Island, it's a little bit windy and showery on the very coastal fringes. Otago Peninsula, Banks Peninsula, those sorts of places. Maybe a few showers around Southland. Nothing much though. And the new westerly airflow means that temperatures will go up and above average by a couple of degrees by the time we get into Wednesday. So a very short-lived cold change for the South Island. So this is later on into Wednesday, about 5 p.m. This map shows you how the mountains of the South Island keep it pretty calm through there. The green you see on the fringes, 20 to 30k wind gusts. So a little bit blustery around some of those coastal areas, and the South Island shelters a big chunk of the North Island. But outside of that, for Auckland, for example, gale force winds are expected from the west to southwest in the afternoon, and a similar story out here from Wairarapa up towards about Mahia Peninsula, blustery winds as that sou'wester moves over the country. So let's get into Thursday, and there's another cold southerly coming back into Southland for a time. In fact, southerly winds across the South Island, but Southland shoulders most of that wet weather, and Otago Peninsula as well. Maybe a few showers going up towards Christchurch and Banks Peninsula, but inland areas are dry for the most part, and the North Island still quite unsettled with that southerly coming straight into Wellington and Wairarapa, and also the sou'wester coming straight into Auckland. So it's not exactly a warm couple of days for the North Island coming up, and the South Island's a bit sort of all over the place. As we move through to Friday, the South Island settles down with a brief area of high pressure, so frosty weather is expected, but in the North Island, the last part of that sou'easter carries on. And for Hawke's Bay, Wairarapa area and Gisborne, I know you've had a lot of rain lately. This may be the beginning of the end, because we are seeing in a lot of the long-range forecasts, and we talked about this yesterday, a drier trend coming in for August or September, so over the next couple of months. And that's probably due to more of these windy westerlies and high pressure parked in place like that. So let's have a quick look at the weekend. That high remains stuck over Australia. You're going to see a lot of that as we head more towards El Nino, because highs park over Australia, no big lows to move them away. They sit there for a long time. So we're on the outer edges of them this weekend. It's a bit cold, couple of showers around, but actually not too bad. And Sunday, very much the same as Saturday. We're sort of not really in high pressure or low pressure. Could be a couple of showers around, maybe a bit of a sou'wester and some showers for Auckland there, and a couple of showers coming into Wellington as a southerly. Otherwise, fairly settled. This is all high pressure out here over Australia, and windy westerlies down there in the Southern Ocean. So there we go. That is the forecast from me. Don't forget our Climate Watch update will be out next week. We're going to be making it a little bit later than usual. It'll be out on Wednesday. That's because we're waiting for the Bureau of Meteorology to do their next climate update, which just happens to be on Tuesday, the 1st of August. So we're going to delay our Climate Watch update by 24 hours to the 2nd of August next week. That's all from me for today, though. See you again tomorrow with our next weather update.